Shall I shave you?
Shave me?
I'm hit again.
Oh shit, I understand magic.
Doran was here.
Second level, guys. Second level.
I just rolled a natural 20 and a natural 1.
And with 2 hands, sticks it into his side, and he's dead.
I'm never alone.
How? What? I don't.
In my heart.
I'm going to roll butt perception.
If that's not to be our fate, know that I love you.
Welcome back to Dice Shame, Episode 5, Hit the Hay. This week's MVP is Mr. Adam Davis for the amazing artwork, including our Dice Shame logo that he has done. He has a talent for sure.
I love it.
Also, Breakout Con is coming up. If you're in Toronto, March 20 to 22nd, head to breakoutcon.com and get your tickets.
They actually have a special early bird full weekend pass on sale until January 20th for the price of a 2-day pass.
Nice. Yeah, you should check them out. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at BreakoutCon. You get news about the show. Shall we see what happens in Nightstone?
Let's do it.
All right.
The temple floor is scattered with shards of colored broken glass, spilt blood, and loose straw. Doran, Jack, and Red drag Kraloth's body through the front door. He's 6'7", and it's fully a 3-person job. Moonlight streams through the windows, and the only sound you hear is the graveyard crickets.
Come on, buddy. Jack, tell me you can do something with him.
We've done all we can. He's gonna take some time to rest. He's stable for the moment. We just need to find him somewhere comfortable to rest.
I think Red's just gonna hug the body for a moment, and then embarrassingly stand up and brush his coat down. Yes,
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah, so you already rolled your D4 to see how many hours that you would need to stabilize. 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
What time of day is it roughly?
It's nighttime. It's like 9 or 10 p.m.
Nighttime in Nightstone.
All right, there's a bed in the back room here. We'll drag him over there.
Yeah, I think we drag him to the back room. We shut that little door, put him on that torn bed, and then just shut the door quietly. And, okay, Jack, Doran.
Let him get some rest.
Yeah, I think we need a rest. You're only, 3 hit points or something, aren't you?
I'm injured, yes, but still standing. That was a very, very difficult battle.
Yes, I think that was not the brightest way to do it. But on the plus side, they're in the keep right now. I'm wondering if we shouldn't make sure they stay in there.
So I was thinking about this. I mean, Jack has been talking to Lady Valrosa the whole time they were building this keep. He knows lots about maps and is thinking about that sort of stuff. I'm wondering if he might be able to figure out or remember Lady Nandar ever talking about a secret back way in, a secret back way out, any other ways to get into this keep other than the drawbridge, or maybe even out of the city. I'm not sure. Just anything he remembers about other ways in or out other than the obvious ones.
She was proud to mention to you the defensibility of the keep specifically.
Right.
That it is elevated out of this 30-foot deep river. She also mentioned to you that the slope that surrounds the motte, the funnel-shaped hill, is rocky and covered with loose shale, that she didn't expect anyone to be climbing these walls because even just getting up to the base of the walls that encircle the keep would necessitate clambering up the sides of this steep hill, and that they're likely just going to be dumped back into the water.
So we can't get in right now, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm, in all of talking with Lady Nandar about this place, it's the most defensible it could possibly be. That was a big part of it when they designed it. I'd seen some of the plans in our letters back and forth. It looks like, you're going to climb that shale on the outside. You're going to fall right down. The river's 30 feet deep, this moat.
But that means that they're stuck in there.
My heart goes out to those 4. I hope they're still alive in there.
We can't think about them right now. Right now, we have Kraloth down. Doran is barely standing.
I'm more than standing,
You're
but
barely
yes.
standing. I mean, you got, 4 foot?
Listen here,
Call that
Tabaxi.
standing?
Shall I shave you?
Shave me?
Why are we even bothering to go back into the
Jack
castle?
wants to save them.
There's 4 soldiers in there,
Yeah, I
loyal to
suppose.
the end, who had communicated us. We said we were going to help them
That's
as
right,
best
we
we could,
did.
and
My
we've
apologies,
trapped them
yeah.
there.
But I think we need to face facts. And with Kraloth the way he is, and with an indefensible position like they have, I think we need to rest, recoup, and think about it in the morning.
I can take the first watch out the window just to see what's going on at the bridge.
I'll take the second watch.
Then if you're taking first and you're taking second watch, then I'll take the third watch.
Morning breaks clear and blue over the sound of rushing water from the stream that surrounds Nightstone. You hear songbirds. And the four of you gain a level.
Oh,
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Level up.
Second level, guys. Second level.
Yeah.
Big news.
I mean, not really. It's kind of. I mean,
Oh,
it's big,
man.
but you know.
In my
It's
limited
big
time of
fucking
playing D&D, I've never leveled up.
Well,
really?
here we are.
Oh, congratulations.
Big
I was just
dick
always
swinging.
the maximum character.
Oh, you just started at level 20.
Okay, let's go around the table and talk about our favorite aspects of our new shiny second level characters. Justin,
Yeah,
you're playing
yeah.
Kraloth,
Yep.
the cleric.
Yes. So my favorite aspect is that I have more HP now, Joe.
Yay!
That I'm not going to be taken down by one hit by a warg. 2, that'll do it. But no, and actually, I'll say that my favorite aspect. So while I was unconscious, this is the second time in the past 24 hours that I've been knocked out,
Concussed.
close to death, and experiencing that gravity of my soul not knowing whether to leave my body or to stay. And while I was unconscious, my soul must have been on some sort of journey, because when I awoke, I had this internal knowing, being so close to death, that I can create that sensation in an enemy that I'm facing, and like gravity, guide their life force into the direction of the grave.
Whoa.
Spooky.
This is a channel divinity for level 2. It's called Path to the Grave. Choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you, cursing it until the end of your next turn. The next time you or an ally of yours hits the cursed creature with an attack, the creature has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage,
Wow.
and then the curse ends.
That's sick.
What does that mean, vulnerability?
Double damage.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Double?
Harlan, what's your new favorite thing about Red, the Tabaxi?
I only got one thing, and my archery is +2.
Yay!
That's it. I gain +2 to but which is nice because now my hit is +7. That is just to hit. Oh, sorry, and I should say I get spells. So I have Hunter's Mark and Cure Wounds. So now I finally do some healing, which is really important.
That's handy.
Yeah. And Hunter's Mark. So I can target a character with, I think it's 60 feet. And basically they take an extra 1d6 damage.
And like, I'm really interested. What's Red's relationship with magic like? What is
Yeah,
he?
great call.
Like, how does he reach out and touch that
In
stuff?
his mind, when he holds his hands over someone to cure wounds, he's just meticulously looking at that wound and not understanding that it's healing because of magic, but more so because of his understanding with nature and things like that. And Hunter's Mark is based on the skill that he's developed over the years.
So it just feels naturally tabaxi to be able to like put a stop bleeding and put a
Very
wound back
natural.
together. And
Yes. It feels like second nature to him.
Alex, tell me about Doran, the dwarf fighter's second level achievements.
Well, Doran is kind of fed up with the single action that he could take. So in level 2, I get an action surge, which essentially means I can take an additional action on top of my regular action.
I like the idea of us developing these skills. Like, this is a move that you've been working on.
That's right.
And practicing.
I'm like,
I'm moving too slowly.
Yeah.
I need to do more to battle these guys.
For
You know,
him,
so I'm like,
it feels more like it's like recalling information rather than like training. I think like
interesting.
you're like, I picture you like, like tightening your wraps or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're
It's
like,
muscle memory.
yeah, exactly.
like
You're,
I didn't
remembering.
think I was going back into battle so quickly, but I should have known. And
Now
now
you're
I'm
prepping.
yeah, getting back
More
into fighting
prepped.
form.
Yeah.
You were fighting in
That's
war. Now
to me
you're-
that makes sense for Doran. It feels like you're getting back in that form.
Rob, tell me about Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a night of sudden inspiration. He's got a lot of writing to do tonight. He has become a lore master wizard or a savant, which he gets spell secrets, which they're almost like improvising magic on the fly a little bit. I think it's an understanding of how magic works intuitively almost. So anytime he's casting a spell with a spell slot, he can change the type of damage of it. So for one type, so if it's ice, he can make it force or necrotic or whatever, or necrotic, he can make radiant.
You reweave the nature of
Yeah.
the spell
It's just-
as you're casting it.
Understanding it like, oh no, this needs to be something else. I know how this works. You just
You
tweak
can
this,
use-
that, the other, and
Lightning instead of fire damage.
Yeah.
That'd be really
That's
good.
got to be
And-
so handy.
And once per short or long rest, he can change the sort of save that a spell requires, and then it's there's a bunch of cool stuff like reflavor this to be about something else. So if it's grease and it's like dexterity on the ground or whatever, he can be like, no, it's actually an illusion, and it's it's hands trying to pull you down and trip you up, and you just need to disbelieve it in order to not get tripped up instead of whatever. Or it's actually I changed gravity, and so it's like force pulling you to the ground, and you need to strength out of that force.
Wow.
Well, that'll be really good too, like depending on what characters we're against, because
Yeah.
it's kind of obvious that like a wolf's dexterity is going to be really good. To save against that is kind of bad, right?
But they're not the smartest creatures.
Exactly, and kind of goes with if giants come.
And it also requires an innate understanding of the monsters that you're up against, which I think Jack would necessarily be, good at.
I'm excited for that.
So in
Proficient.
addition to having this night full of like, oh shit, I understand magic, I'm ready to like get a little bit improvised with it. He had 2 really great ideas for spells and scribed in his spellbook Grease and Ice Knife.
Ooh,
Sick.
And wrote a letter. So he did a lot
You're
of
really
writing on
busy.
this last.
You
on
wrote
this
a
rest.
letter?
I did write a letter. But I don't know. I wanted to
Can
send
we
a
do
letter.
a scene where you're writing the letter? You're
do.
on your rest
Yeah.
and you're like sitting in
Do you
a
want me to
pool.
read the letter?
I
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
I want to hear your best narration voice. I'm picturing Jack sitting in a pool of moonlight on a wide windowsill of this temple, watching over his slumbering companions as he looks out the window over the fog in the graveyard.
The letter is dated Nightstone Evening, Elaine 25, 1492. It's addressed to Torin Sheldrick from the Copper Cup Fest Hall in Dockward Waterdeep. My dearest Torin, I wish this were the sort of letter that carried the sweet words and poetry that so often grace our correspondence, but the topic is dire, and there is none more than you that I trust to diligently read my words and act with due haste. I traveled to Nightstone to visit my friend Lady Velrosa Nandar, with stalwart companions Kraloth, Doran, and Red. When we arrived, we found the town was in a state of disarray. The townspeople were missing, the structures had been bombarded by boulders we suspected dropped by giants from a floating cloud castle, and the Nightstone itself is missing. To make matters worse, the bones of the village were being picked clean by goblins, and the keep had been occupied by agents of the Centarum, led by a pair named Kella and Zolkin. We have just barely survived an encounter with these bandits and are retreating to find safety. We have learned from Beto, a goblin scavenger, of a cave near here where the villagers may be taking shelter or being held captive by Beto's master, Hark. I've enclosed a map to the cave as Beto has described it to us. We had word from the keep before the last loyal guards were murdered by the Zentarum bandits that Lady Nandar died from a boulder dropped during the giant's attack. Please inform her family and offer them my deepest condolences. Please also inform the Waterdeep City Guard of this attack. Perhaps they have a patrol on the road to Daggerford that could be diverted to lend aid or help reclaim the village. If you find the time, you might also inform my father of our peril, but I fear you may find the matters of my well-being are among the worldly concerns he only rarely budgets time for. I will be recalling Kieran to my side at sunset tomorrow. If you have any correspondence you wish returned to me, please ensure it's within my familiar's care before then. I hope to see your face again soon, that we may stroll along the docks arm in arm and share tales of this harrowing adventure. If that's not to be our fate, know that I love you.
Doran's like carving the floor.
Doran was here.
Oh,
No.
has morning come?
Morning is broken.
Kraloth opens his eyes and is surprised to be opening his eyes, and he finds himself on this straw bed in a temple and looks around and
I think the door's open. Probably the rest of us are in that cleared some of the glass off the floor in
Yeah.
that sort of altar space outside that door, and
You
are
hear
either
purring
sleeping
from under
or-
the bed.
Oh, just on the foot of the bed, maybe
Yeah.
just like on
Yeah.
your feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, I just have a moment taking in the sereneness of the morning, the birds chirping, and my friends all sleeping. I see Jack kind of passed out on the desk, and Doran's in there and sleeping as well. Actually, I guess Doran's on watch, and I just sit down to really appreciate the fact that I'm alive again and surrounded by friends.
And I'm like, like a fur ball comes out of my mouth. Good morning, everyone. So I was thinking about this last night. What the plan is to move forward. Now, I don't think it's a bright idea to try to attack it, unless we had the help of the villagers in the cave.
The idea of greeting those people in the keep and potentially getting into another fight with them is much less appealing than going to the cave where there are peaceful citizens, supposedly, who might need our help.
Absolutely. And some who will be, of course, with us in attacking this castle. this
Exactly.
keep.
However, the other side of my brain says this. Before we bring these townspeople back in, we should A, make sure there are no more hiding out in the buildings, and B, make sure the goblins are out of here before they come back in. We don't want some young child running up ahead to their home and finding a goblin in their bed. killing them.
So I sent a letter to Waterdeep. With luck, maybe they will send some aid. They've got patrols on that road we turned off of there. If they get the letter, they should have got it this morning. Maybe that gives them, a day and a half march, 2 days march to get here. It would, if we were going to get reinforcements, they may never come. But if we were, that would be sort of when to expect them. But why don't we take a look through the rest of the town, just see what resources we have here?
So you're currently in the temple of Miliki and Lathander. That's the closest, largest building to the drawbridge, which is in the west of Nightstone. Moving clockwise around the map, to the north and right in the center of town, that's the inn. It's the largest building by far in the settlement. At about 1 o'clock, so continuing on to the east, you can see out the door of the temple and across the square, there is the stable house. And attached to the stable house, that's where the barn and the chicken coop is.
Right.
Continuing to the south, just to the east, there are a number of farms and a building that is hung with the sign. It's blue and gold. It says Lion Shield Coster. You can just see it now in the morning light. This is a trading post. There is also a windmill to the south of town, a couple more farms, and then the bridge, which is out. And as you look out the windows of the temple, you hear the sound of carpentry.
Oh, so they could be repairing the bridge. All right. Well, I think we should move through the town relatively quickly. We'll start off at the stables, then go to Kevin Costner, and instead head south to the windmill, and maybe we can see what people are doing.
Kevin Costner?
I don't think the goblins are too difficult faring. I think what I'll do is, why don't I climb up to the roof, give a good bird's eye view, and then you sweep around from the north and maybe see if you can peacefully scoot them. If not, we'll engage. I'll fire from an advantageous position, and we'll continue going around the clock face.
Let's do it.
So Red's going to leave. I'm going to head over to the inn, and I'm going to scale to the roof into an advantageous position, and I'm going to...
Would you like to do that stealthily?
Sure, why not? With a...
Ooh, wow, look at that.
So I roll with disadvantage. I just rolled a natural 20 and a natural 1.
You should take a
no.
photo of that and put it on our Instagram.
Incredible.
So yeah, Red opens the door to the church, and it's like... And then continues to move across the square. And then climbs up the side of the inn and gets about halfway before like some loose sod brings him back down. And then continues back up. It's like the loudest thing ever.
And then your pants fall down.
So as you enter the square, you see the two bodies of wargs festering lightly in the morning sunlight. And you cross the square making lots of silly, ridiculous noises.
I will do actually a general perception while I'm up there. Might as well, because I have a turn still, and I do not see anything with a 2. Wow.
You can see down the straight path that bisects Nightstone and ends in the bridge toward the keep. You see 2 of the Zentarim agents on the southern end of the bridge trying to rebuild this bridge.
Did we search Kella's room before we left last time?
We did not, I don't think.
So maybe there's some more searching in the inn through the back door there, and then...
I left Beto in the wardrobe, though.
Oh shit, yeah.
Maybe we should check on Beto then.
Yeah.
There's also a hole in the roof that you can hop down into.
Oh, is
remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Let's do it. I don't think there's any point in being stealthy. They know we're here. We just got to go search the place and do it. If they're
You
going to
going
come
in through the front door?
Yeah, might as
All right.
well. It's the
I
closest
see
one.
you guys. I'm like, be safe.
Be safe!
Whatever.
With the natural one.
So as Kraloth, Jack, and Doran enter Nightstone Inn with Red on the roof.
You know what? I mean, there's no sense. There's no one approaching. I'm gonna hop in through that hole in the roof and join in on the looting because I want to have some fun too.
And that hole drops into Kella's room, right?
That's right.
So as Kraloth is
Opening the door?
like quietly, there's just this thud sound, and there's Red right in front of him.
You hear rattling from within a wardrobe.
I'm gonna go over to the wardrobe and open it up.
A goblin pops out.
Whoa, Beto, it's okay, it's just me.
You
Yeah.
said you would release me.
And we have.
You treacherous.
You're not tied up, are you?
Beto is free.
Beto's free. I just wanted to give you a warning.
Out of my way.
You're not the only people in this town anymore. The Zentarum have arrived.
What's that?
The Zentarum. They're an enemy force that don't like goblins very much. Piggy.
Stay out of my way. And
Do
he
your thing.
backs out of the door and scampers down the stairs.
Good luck.
I'll climb back up on the roof and watch where he goes from the outside.
And so as the goblin scrambles down the stairs and out the front door, almost like a frightened bird, he's like scrambling. There's Doran behind the bar, washing his morning breath down with some beer out of a keg.
I'll save you guys the time. The first pass through you made of the inn was very successful and thorough.
All right, let's head back through the. Let's go through the back door.
Yeah, I'm glad you let Beto out. It's would be bad to leave him locked up there.
Oh, of course.
Red, as you climbed your way back up onto the roof of the inn, you watched as Beto scampered through the front door of the inn, looked all directions around him to try to gain his perspective, and lays eyes on the dead wargs in the corner of the square. He slowly trudges toward them and goes, "Mee-doo-boo-boo."
And you next, I shout out.
His head snaps up where he sees you looking down on him from the
I
roof.
give him a little wave.
He runs full speed into the stables.
Into the
and
stables.
Slams the door behind him.
Kraloth opens the back door and gestures for Doran and Jack to follow.
To the stables?
Yeah, to the stables.
The back door of the inn looks out toward the north of Nightstone. There is a second graveyard.
Yeah, and then I swing a right and kind of at a casual crouch, nothing too intense.
What is a casual
Just like
crouch?
just like a slight lean,
crouch.
just a slight lean. Kraloth, Doran, and Jack begin making their way to the stable.
I think I'd catch Kraloth's eye.
Yeah.
For some reason now deciding to be quiet and like make hand signals gesturing that Beto went inside the door.
Okay.
All of a sudden I'm in combat mode.
As you're walking toward the cottage and the chicken coop area and the stable, as you walk through the grassy meadows, the lawns that separate these buildings, you see two pigs at the base of the watchtower just nosing around in the long grass looking for stuff to eat. Clearly they've been liberated from wherever they had been kept when there were still people living in this settlement.
So Kraloth draws his shield. Well, he's had his shield out the whole time. And instead of his mace, though, he's got his tambourine out. And he goes up to the door as Doran approaches from behind. And he's going to knock a couple times, try the door handle, see if it's open,
It is.
and say, "I'm coming in. There's 3 of us. We don't want to hurt you. We're just scanning through the town."
And we need you to move on.
As you are standing at the door of the stable, you hear the nervous whickering and whinnying of horses within.
If we're moving in and there's nothing on the outside, I'd probably scale down and join them because there's no advantageous.
Yeah. Well, I would give you the all is clear tambourine symbol.
Perfect.
Come to
What does
me.
that sound like?
That sounds like this.
Nice.
Just like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I scale down very quickly and I head over,
Tambourine.
open it. And when you open
Yeah.
it, I step in front of the door with my bow drawn.
Okay.
And I also ready for any goblins leaving. If they try to leave, I'm going to trip them or snatch
So
them.
Doran's on one side of the door, you're opening on the other side of the door, and I'm
Yeah.
going to stand in front of it with my bow drawn. Jack, you're what, sort of crouched next to Kraloth?
I think Jack's standing a few feet back, just watching it happen. I don't think he's particularly taking a lot of cover or crouching or anything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Cool.
just a stable door.
Better than an unstable door. Go on.
You open the doors to the barn and you see a dirt floor. You see on either side of this stable there are stalls where some draft horses and riding horses are confined. They're tossing their heads and their manes around with wild eyes. And you also notice that there are 2 ladders leading up into a hayloft that circles the perimeter of the second floor.
Does it look like there's a window from the hayloft to the outside?
Yes, so there is a second door that leads out on the ground floor of the barn. It's on the south wall. And there's also some light coming in through a window that's in the hayloft.
I gesture to Kraloth and give him the old up signal, and I scale the side.
Okay.
I'm going to get to the hayloft.
So you are scaling the building from the outside.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, then I'm going to walk in, and I know that he's looking after the hayloft, so I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to try to calm some horses. Just whoa, 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 it's all right.
As you enter the barn with your hands outstretched to try to calm these horses, an arrow flies out of the hayloft and narrowly misses you, skidding by your foot. Everyone roll for initiative. Dun, 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 dun. Kraloth.
I got a 16.
Jack.
17.
One upper. Doran.
Well, I got a 7.
Red.
11.
Jack, you see this arrow skid by Kraloth's feet as he enters the barn. What do you do?
I think Jack's just going to shout out in common, guessing that it's Beto. You know you're outnumbered. You know we've just fought the 5 Zentarum to a standstill. Put your bow down and surrender. We don't want to fight you.
Nice.
We just want to take a look through here. Don't throw your lives away for this.
That's a good idea.
Do goblins understand common?
From your time with the goblins, when you were enslaved by them or when they had captured you, you know that some of them do speak common.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm just going to sort of step up behind Kraloth and sort of give that shout out to them.
Okay, Kraloth.
I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy, and I'm going to... Can I just, like, completely repeat what, like, Jack's voice, but make it come from the hayloft?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat it. And exactly what Jack said, I'm just going to replay it from the top of the hayloft and make it a little bit booming and intimidating and hopefully shake them out of attacking.
Yeah, you hear the panicked voice of Beto, who you are now familiar with. He says in Goblin, I'll come down.
All right, I'm putting my weapon away. Don't fire at me, Beto.
Beto climbs down the northernmost ladder as another shot fires out of the hayloft at you, Kraloth. That's 19 to hit.
That's a hit.
Ouch.
8 piercing damage.
Die.
Holy moly. I'm hit. I'm hit again.
Red's just like climbing the side. He's like, of course. Yeah.
I feel like
It wouldn't be a fucking Tuesday.
we're all saying that.
She rolls so well against me, though. Like, this is like...
I mean, we're all
I missed you the
19.
first time.
That's true. Well, at least Beto's cool.
Yeah, so he climbs down the ladder and makes his way past you basically to where the doors are of the stable on his turn.
All right.
Red.
I'm going to climb straight up to the roof.
And so you climb up the stable wall, up the roof.
Do I see the shooter? Do I see any goblins?
You can make a perception check.
12.
You don't see anyone.
I will take the hide action.
Kraloth,
Yeah.
what's your health at right now?
11.
Oh, boy.
Doran.
Doran suspects that there are goblins in the stalls as well, based on the reactions of the horses. I think you went to one, you started to go to one stall.
I started to go to one, yeah.
I'm going to circle around the south where there's the other door. Is that door open or closed?
It's closed.
I will open it.
Great. You open the door and you perceive the other side of the stable.
I enter through that door, expecting maybe there might be some whizzing arrows coming flying at me, but heading towards one of the stall doors.
Okay.
Because what I'm going to do is, if I reach the stall door without an arrow coming flying at me, I'll kick the stall door in, regardless of if there's a horse there or not, and look around for goblins.
So you enter the stable. There are no arrows whizzing. You kick open one stall door and a black stallion rears up at you. You perceive no goblins. Jack.
So we can't see any goblins, so I think he's got to...
Apart from Beto, who is
Yeah.
apparently trying to run away.
Jack's got to take a look around then. He's got to see if he can find where these people
Sure.
are. How do we feel about a 14 for a perception?
You do not perceive any combatants apart from the 4 of you.
So seeing no goblins there, he's going to go try and find some cover, maybe in a stall or somewhere. Just
Okay.
to dash somewhere he can shelter.
Sure. Yeah, you can move into the stable and under the hayloft. Kraloth, what happens?
Okay, so I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay.
That is 4 plus...
You're
Health
back up
back.
at full.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm going to take cover behind one of the stalls, and then I'm going to roll perception, see if I can spot where that arrow came from.
Roll perception.
20.
Hidden deep within the straw, the top of the hayloft, there you see a goblin butt poking out.
Okay, and I'm going to...
But you can't tell the difference between it or its face.
Okay.
It's so
Listen
ugly.
here, butt face.
In the hay bale in the top, and I'm going to point out where it is to red.
Red, what happens now?
I'm going to pop out. I'm going to fire at the...
The butt?
Well, actually,
But do you perceive it?
Maybe roll with
perceive
advantage.
the butt?
Butt perception.
I'm going to roll butt perception. I've been rolling shite. Dirty 20.
That's not bad.
I mean, I know. It was two separate thoughts.
Only a 20. You see the goblin buried in the straw. You also, from your vantage point on the roof, see 3 humans walking toward the stables. So you still want to fire at him with your bow?
Yes.
Great. Roll to hit.
Right? Kill the thing.
For sure.
Natural 20.
Nice.
This is Chester, by the way. This is the guy that got first shamed. Since coming back, today alone, he's rolled 2 natural 20s.
He's trying to make it up to you.
I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, you kill a goblin. How
Yeah.
does it look?
Kind of sad, actually, because I fire into like a oh, this
butt?
makes me really sad. This reminds me of the Ewok's death in like Return of the Jedi, where he doesn't get
yeah.
up. I just like fire into the hay, and it's just like this little like twitching butt. It's like, and it just stops moving. I noticed that there's Zentarm coming, so I'm going to lean in and I'm going to say, 3 Zentarm coming from the south. I'm going to get to an advantageous position on the roof. Why don't you try to engage kindly? I mean, do they look... I don't know if they're... I mean, I would have seen them. Did they approach with weapons drawn, or are they like...
So you saw 3 humans. 2 of them you would presume to be Zentarum agents. One of them looks to be differently armored.
Okay, so
Different.
either way, I'm going to kill the goblin, and then I'm going to crawl to the west of the stable, and I'm going to hide if I can, hang out there, right?
Sure.
And I'm going to watch them coming
So you're going to hide
after I
there?
tell them all this.
Yeah. I exchanged nervous looks with Doran and Jack.
Yeah, it's no good. I think Jack's pretty nervous about those guys.
What do the 3 of you do? You're in the stables. There's about 10 horses in here with you, and there are some enemies approaching.
I look at Kraloth and I give a nod like, let's take him.
I'm picturing you guys
feeling-
looking over. I mean, actually,
You see the...
Doran can't look over the
No.
top of a stable at all. Maybe looking underneath the stable? Like
yeah, I'm
ducking
thinking
his
there's...
head down?
He calls down. I kind of poke my head out of the stall. Well, first of all, I didn't really step into the stall. I kicked the door open and there was a horse and I didn't see a goblin. And the stable door closed again.
Sure.
The stall door just closed. And then I see everything kind of go on.
Yeah.
And then I look at Kraloth, and this is kind of when I give a nod.
And Kraloth, the eye contact from Kraloth, it has a slightly different meaning. This goes back to our conversation that we had
Right.
under the tree,
Yeah.
where I'm following your lead.
Yeah.
And then
Which is not necessarily always my lead, but
Right.
it's a agreed upon.
at this point, I'm just kind of like, okay, my instinct would be to run out there.
Right.
But I think in this case, I am going to nod, and then I'm going to slowly crouch down, take position beside the door.
Good thinking.
And get the jump on them.
And mine
because-
was to run out. So, you know what? I look at you and you crouch down and I follow you and I say, you know what? That's a better idea.
So looking out at these folks, there's one who's wearing something different.
Are you looking out the door at them?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
from the shadows.
come somewhere, get a close. I'm not particularly trying to be stealthy about it, but I do want to see, like, do they have bows or crossbows they're going to point at us? And then can I figure out anything about this other person? Anything about their things they're wearing? Their, something that would differentiate them, why they're here.
You watch as Beto runs from the stables across the square, and one of these robed humans pulls out a crossbow and kills him.
Kind of in a way that's disappointing, but also
Kind of.
not, but kind of disappointing. Oh.
The third human, the one that is not dressed like the others, is wearing the regalia of Nightstone.
Ah.
She,
guard, maybe?
as they approach, you see she's a female human, and she's between the other two. And they are looking from side to side.
Does she look like a prisoner?
It's hard to tell from your distance.
The one in the middle there's from Nightstone.
And you know what? With that kind of, you started saying it, and I looked at Kraloth, and I shake my head like no, and I step right out into the doorway, making myself fully apparent to the approaching three people.
They killed Beto in cold blood. It wasn't his time.
It takes a moment for them to notice you when their eyes slide across you. Then one of them raises a hand in salutation and says, "Hail. We weren't sure if you would stay."
And then Doran so aptly responds,
Well, you didn't think we would run, did you?
We thought we'd left you on the ground bleeding out.
Well, you thought wrong. Now, what are you doing here?
Clearing out the town.
Clearing out the town of what?
Goblins and the likes of you.
And if we should decide not to leave?
Well, then you'll have to surrender.
I'm on the roof. Am I hidden? I think I wanted to hide.
I think you're on the far side of the peak of the roof. So you're on the downslope, whereas they're sort of over the other side of the roof.
Cool. Okay, so I can see them.
You can hear them.
Can I get into a position where I could fire
You
potentially?
can definitely poke your head up over the crest of the roof and watch what's going on.
I will do so.
Okay. Jack and Kraloth, you are still in the stables listening to this exchange.
Kraloth is ducking down full cover. They haven't seen him yet, just beside one of the stable doors.
The other Zentarum speaks up. "And where are your friends?"
My companions are spread around this village.
"So you're alone."
I'm never alone.
How? What? I don't.
In my heart.
Moradin is always with you?
Yes.
My God.
That's right.
Unexpected religion.
Moradin is always with me.
Surrender, dwarf.
I'll never surrender.
and I clang my battle axe with my shield.
Yeah.
Cling. I'll never surrender.
Well, then I suppose you'll die.
And Doran just lets out a big laugh.
Can I fire?
They don't know you're there. You can absolutely take a surprise round.
Might as well. Yeah,
Everyone-
I'm going to attack.
Do it.
Roll initiative.
All right, here we go.
Jack, what did you roll?
7.
And Kraloth?
9.
Red?
Dirty 20.
But is it better than a
10. No.
Yes. Much better than a 10.
But surprisingly, I'm second.
Red, you said you wanted to fire at one of the two Zentarum agents who are crossing the square.
Yeah.
They're about 30 feet away from Doran right now
Yeah.
and approaching.
That's my wheelhouse. Within
Please
30 feet.
Roll to hit.
I'm going to try rolling Chester. 13.
That hits.
hey? There you go,
Brilliant.
Chester.
Oh, that is max damage. That is 13.
You strike her in the throat and she keels over, bleeding. It's your turn again.
I'm going to attack again. Does she
Wow.
look bloodied or I guess not?
She's fucking dead.
Oh, I'll attack the other one.
This is a Zentari?
That is a 15 to hit.
Suddenly, Red can aim.
Yeah.
10 damage.
You catch him in the side of the shoulder and he spins around looking for the source of the arrow, spots you on the roof, and then turns to the guard beside him and says,
Erase my browser history.
"Alara, go for help."
How does she look? Does
She
she?
looks so good.
No, but is she? I mean, obviously she's a Nightstone something.
Yeah, she looks at him a little bit befuddled and kind of shocked, and then looks up at you, Red. Why don't you roll insight?
Yeah, I want to say something too before my turn ends because I haven't moved or anything like that, but I definitely want to talk. Insight with a 12.
She seems unsure of what to do.
Yeah, I'm going to just say, we fight for Nightstone. You do not need to side with these Antarum.
He hisses at her, "You swore fealty to us." And she looks
Look at the crest on your
Scared.
shirt. You swore allegiance to Nightstone.
Very wisely put.
This is good. This is
roll
good.
persuasion.
Oh, happily.
Persuade her.
Now we get to see the strength of my actual character. 16.
She pulls her spear off of her back and with two hands sticks it into his side.
Fuck yeah!
this woman, she looks from left to right at the two dead bandits on either side of her. And then she quickly crosses the square door and towards you.
Yes.
She swiftly runs past you and tries to close the stable door.
She comes in and I make it very obvious that I'm welcoming and no longer a threat to her. And that's the first thing that I say is,
Are the rest of the guards alive?
No, I was the only one.
So they've killed the rest of them.
Yes.
Are you all right? Are you hurt in any way?
No, I'm fine. My name's Alara. I had to promise to go along with him.
Well, you don't need to promise that anymore. Thank you for what you did. You've done Nightstone a service.
Thank you for sheltering me.
I'm going to be watching up the pathway, by the way, in case any more are coming.
Roll perception.
14.
Nothing so far.
How many of these Zentarum are still back at the keep?
Kella and Zolkin stayed back there. Kella wanted to sleep in. She rolls her eyes.
So there's only 2 left?
Yes, the other
guess that
2
makes
were
sense.
out salvaging what they could from the buildings around.
We could probably get the drop on those 2.
They're just wandering the town, are they?
I don't know where they are. I haven't seen them in a little while. We've been traveling, the 3 of us.
I join the others as she's continuing to talk, and I say, well, we should bring the bodies in,
Yep.
and they don't know that you've turned. That could be advantageous. And I'm going to go help with the bodies.
They were
Yeah,
they were
come on.
keeping
Yeah, me
a close eye on me because I turned my back on Nightstone. So
I'm thinking bait. I think if she runs out and they'll follow her. Sorry. I mean, not you being bait. I
Me?
just mean
What?
No, nothing. Bait, fishing lures. Come on.
and I turn to the guard and I kind of put the guard's concern at ease and I say,
You may have decided to turn your back on Nightstone at one point, but surely you've proved yourself the other way, and you're now part of the fight for Nightstone again.
The resistance.
The Team Awesome, as we call ourselves.
Come on,
Awesome.
Red. Let's get
Yes.
these bodies in, like you
Yes.
say.
Did Lady Nandar ever mention Alara in any letters? She's a...
no, this is a mundane
This
guard
bitch,
of no
Alara,
importance.
will not stop.
She chews so annoyingly.
You never know.
She eats ice.
Kraloth and I are just going to drag the guards to the side and cover them with some hay.
And just search them quickly as well.
Oh, yeah. Do either of them have leather armor? Ooh,
Might
really
take a
want...
crossbow.
They do have leather armor, but the armor is less useful than fresh leather armor would be. If you're taking stuff from monsters, it's not as of high quality as it would be if you were buying it from an armory, which means it's not going to be as effective or
it's probably
useful.
been found off another body, which was found off another body. which was
Right,
found off another
and
body.
it's not going to be worth as much if you were to sell it.
So, mechanically, just because we've breached the subject, what would the disadvantage be if I wore their leather armor? Would it be like...
Less AC.
Okay.
You find 3 silver and 8 copper pieces between the 2 of them.
I'll just write those down here and then we can...
Clerics need money, yo.
Here, buddy, do you need some money? I take the other one's pockets and I give it to you.
Alara, which way were the other guards headed? Did you see where they're at?
The Zentarum,
Zentarum.
bandits.
Yeah, the bandits.
They were reconstructing the bridge. I think they've about finished that, probably. I don't know where they are.
Well, it sounds like that bridge might be fixed. Is that the case?
Yes.
I say we delay no more and go and see our good friends Kara and
Killa
and
Zolkin?
Zolan.
Zolan?
Zolkin.
Zolkin?
I do think we should...
Those two.
I mean, Kraloth and I returned
Good
from
friends.
covering the bodies.
Yes.
I say, I do think we should kill the other guards first before approaching. We don't want anyone coming from behind us.
Oh, yes.
Why don't I see if
absolutely.
I can scout something from the roof and I'll climb up and I'll...
Red, you scale the roof of the stables and you look out on the square.
I'm just looking around the town.
You hear a sound carried to you on the wind. It is the sound of marching.
So Red is sort of scanning the Nightstone, and marching perks up his severed ear. And sort of reality really just comes crashing for a second, because that is totally foreign to him. Where's the marching coming from?
Coming from the north?
Beyond the walls?
Yes.
He perches right up on top of the chimney and stretches his eyes to look out towards the north beyond the walls.
You see something that chills your blood. More than a score of orcs.
What is the score?
20.
Fuck. rocks on the horizon. Oh boy, that's bad news. You know what else isn't bad news? Subscribing to Dice Shame and leaving us a 5-star review. Hint, hint. Make sure you follow us at Dice Shame on all of our social platforms, and you may just be our MVP next week.